So basically I went to around 20 seats which go to polls in the first three phases in UP. Seats like Meerut, Saharanpur, Kairana, coming down to Noida, Ghaziabad, up till Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Aligarh. So these seats mostly go to polls in the first three phases. The sense we get is, unlike 2014 and 17, 2014 BJP won all these seats. All these 20 seats went to the BJP. It was a one-sided battle completely. This time, there is no such wave which we saw on the ground. There is no great wave in favor of one party, let's say the BJP. But yes, there is a lot of the popularity of Mr. Narendra Modi is still very high. People speak of Balakot, people speak of nationalism. There is anger against many of the sitting MPs, especially those who have been given tickets again. But at the end of the day, people still say that, they are voting for Modi. Modi made this appeal in Meerut and in Saharanpur rallies when he went that your vote is for me. So that seems to have gone, to the ground where people who are hardcore BJP supporters. There are some other major issues in West UP which are dominating the discourse. One, as you put it, as is the Ganna and the Gai. So sugarcane, there's the sugarcane belt. Sugarcane dues are a big issue. At the start of the election, 20 days back, the dues were up till almost rupees 10,000 crores. The UP government has worked overtime to bring down these dues. UP government has also paid almost 50,000 crore rupees in sugarcane procurement over the last 1.5-2 years. It's a very high payout. So when you speak to the sugarcane farmers, who are basically Jats, they do say that the payment is a bit delayed, but they still say the payment comes. So, because the payment is coming and, because Jats have rallied behind the BJP in the last 2 elections, I don't see the Jats moving away from the BJP big time. It is not so much for other farmers, especially who are affected by the cattle menace. Now, if you travel down a bit, into Agra and these areas and even Mathura, you find the cattle menace is still very much there. Though the government has done a lot by building up cattle shelters and taking away the stray cows to these shelters, you can still see cattle around in the fields. What the farmer, interestingly, is more angry about is about the cost he had to incur to put the wire fencing around his farm. Somebody has spent 15,000 rupees, somebody has spent 30,000 rupees, depending on what kind of fence they built. So the farmer says that though their crop is now harvested and they got good money for it, nobody reimbursed them for that cost of fencing their farms. Which they say was they had to do out of compulsion because it was not their doing but doing of the government where the cattle menace ran amok. So that that anger is there amongst the farmers because the cattle problem is still very much there. It has subsided from what 2 months ago it was, but it is still very much there. So how that vote which side that vote will go remains to be seen. The alliance is a very potent caste combination in West UP. The Mayawati's appeal, the Mayawati and Akhilesh started their campaign very late. They went on Sunday to Deoband for the first time, just 4 days before the first votes are cast. And the Sunday, the first appeal by Mayawati was to Muslims that you should not vote for the Congress, vote for us. Now, West UP has a history of polarization. BJP has done its own share of polarization through statements from the Chief Minister. Mayawati, in a sense, has completed that job for the BJP. The election, Hindu-Muslim polarization, certain seats of West UP is now complete. Seats like Bijnor, seats like Saharanpur, like Kairana, where there's high Muslim population. The reason behind this was Congress floating Muslim candidates in both Bijnor and Saharanpur. Imran Masood and Naseemuddin Siddiqui in Bijnor. So what the alliance feels is the Muslim votes are going to get divided. And even in Kairana, a very strong Jat candidate has been floated by the Congress. So BJP feels, the alliance feels they might also suffer in Kairana. So that was maybe the reason why Mayawati made that very blatant appeal to Muslims. Congress is hurting the alliance in nearly half a dozen seats where I've been to through Muslim candidates or candidates of other castes, which will ultimately help the BJP. The Congress may not be in a position maybe to win many seats. It may not even win one seat in the first phase, but it may cause damage to the alliance in many other seats, and even to the BJP for that matter in some seats. there is not much enthusiasm for the alliance candidates in the villages. When you go to the villages, the traditional logic has been that the SC voter votes for BSP, but when you speak to some educated SC voters, they show a loyalty towards Modi. So that's a new phenomenon that I saw in this time, that the educated SC voter is open to the BJP. He's not close to the option of the BJP, and they might even vote for the BJP. And people in the villages say that, many villages which I went to, this was a common refrain that, okay, if we don't vote for Modi, whom do we vote for as Prime Minister? Is Mayawati becoming the Prime Minister? Is Akhilesh Yadav becoming the Prime Minister? There is no other. So people differentiate between a state election and a Lok Sabha election. They say that maybe we would have voted for the Gathbandhan in an assembly election to see a CM of Mayawati or Akhilesh Yadav in Lucknow, but this is an election for Delhi. So why to waste our vote on a candidate, who will not have a say when the national government is formed? So that is an interesting part. The voter is very aware of the national political scene in West UP. One interesting thing when we went to villages, the big Congress promise of Nyay, the 72,000 rupees a year to the poor. I found people didn't even know about it. People were not aware. People were, in fact, questioning me that, is this true? What are the details? So it shows that the big promise of the Congress, has not even percolated to the ground because the big leaders have not campaigned. So, when there are no rallies, when there is no big leader coming and telling you, it doesn't percolate to the villages. So Congress won't gain from it in the first phase, at least. BJP's promise, in fact, Kisan Nidhi scheme, many farmers have got 2,000 rupees in West UP. It's a very high number. Many villages went to, most farmers had got that amount. So people have got that money, albeit little it may be, but people have got it. In the first phase, alliance, because of the whole dynamic, if you add up the Muslim vote, it's very difficult for the BJP to seeing BJP winning many seats. But in some seats, BJP is strong. Like in Ghaziabad, BJP is strong. Even in Noida, BJP is strong. I would even say in Saharanpur, it's a very tough fight between the BJP and the alliance candidate.